We're gonna go live with CNBC. Hopefully, welcome to the show. This is Cryptolu here. Welcome to my channel. So right now we're looking at Finviz at the main screen that you guys have, and sorry I didn't have audio at the beginning. Sometimes I forget to put it back. Okay. So here, we don't have, because I don't pay for this, so we don't have much going on. We have this draws over here. For me, these look like a double top. This, but then they go it again, kind of like side trade. Can you zoom in, zoom out? If I try to do anything, I have to pay 24. If you guys help me subscribe to the channel, maybe I got enough money to pay this. So right now it's trading 1.52% down on the NVDA. So I've been following NVIDIA since the first split, maybe. I think it was $200 and went up to $800. They split, and then from 200 went up now to, they probably split more times, but I remember that one. I remember when I purchased AMD in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, at $13. AMD now it's $160 a stock, and NVIDIA, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was something around 80 to 100 back then. And then probably like they talk, then NVIDIA go to 200 before AMD go to 50, something like that. So that was like the talking back then. So now we have this explosion in AI from the, when I go to the $200, I was working a golf course right now, and then this girl that worked with us told me that her mother is trading. She's trading stocks and stuff like that. And then she go, hey, you wanna call? My mom said to buy NVIDIA, and it's gonna explode it. $200. I go like, I don't know if this. So I took a look on my indicators and stuff, and then I see nothing crazy. I go, actually, I hit like 212, and then went back to the 200 again. I said, this is not going to happen, this and that, blah, blah. Didn't take much. A week later, it's just like, boom. It went from 200 and went up to 240. So until it hit the earnings that was trading around $300. And I actually, I say, like, let me buy a call for 440 for next week. And then it hit, I got like, I probably play like for $40 a call, and then pay me like $440. So I made 1,000%. So should have given her some kind of cash. But anyway, so now we are at 900. It's 100% from that call. I mean, it was most like 400% for the first call at $200, and 100% for the last earnings that I paid. That was 300 and went up to, I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of the last year. But anyway, so I'm gonna bring to you guys some websites, and this one you guys looking at is Finviz. Pretty much this one only give me like all the information from the company, who's held by, all those companies and all that. EPS, everything like looks green pretty much on NVIDIA. It's now I see an option short, yes. Option short, yes. Sales 8%. Market cap $2 trillion. I don't know how much they have in cash. I don't know. Target in this website, it shows $30 at 1,038. Previously closed 953, price 939. So week, week, month, quarter, year, 200%, year to date 89%, beta 1.65, ATR 31, volatility between 2 and 3%. I'm gonna take a look at those numbers. Look like this beta looks good too. So okay, ROAR it's 56%, gross margin, payout. Let me see if I can see earnings today. Trades I cannot see because I had to pay. 200 distance from the 200-day simple moving average is 52%. That's nice. It's a lot of information over here that I didn't pay attention before. Then actually kind of like means something. The PE is only 29. They keep saying like 33, but say the PE is 39. The PE is price to earnings. PS is price to sell 38.55. The forward PE is 29. The PE is 78. Price to earnings 78. It's in the red, so I don't know what that means. Short outstand is 2 billion. Yeah. Short flow 240. So the short flow it's 1%. Short radio 0.54. Short interest 26 million. Okay. So okay. This is like Finviz. If you go elite, it's $25 a month. Include pre-market, after-market session. Am I gonna subscribe this one? I'm gonna see if I can play with those numbers down here, because I'm doing some type of research and trying to figure out a couple things. So I don't know. So the second website that we're gonna take a look is this one. This one called optioncharts.io. It's kind of like unique. I like these indicators here, the overview. I'm looking at most expire charts, and IV 52%. Now see the put call ratio. That's what I'm looking at right now. And the volume is in neutral, and also in the put call ratio for the sentiment, it's neutral for the open interest. Okay, so it say right here that right now today volumes, you know, all that put call ratio is 72, so it's neutral. Put call ratio 86, neutral. So then I go to this one. Sorry guys, I'm kind of tired. I wake up early in the morning, go to work. I had to pay for this too. I'm doing the free version right now. It's another $20. If you guys can help me subscribe, it's gonna be good. So for the week options expiring the May 24th, we have 0.73 put call ratio, which is neutral. So that's gonna happen. Okay. I believe it's something will happen, but so I see here the probability distribution, which is a new thing for me. The IV is 141% for the next 2 days, and I still don't know how to read this, but it says it's a 100% that the price is gonna be between 671 and 1,296. This is 100%. The price is gonna be inside this. This is kind of like crazy because, you know, if you look at the way it's just like, you know, it's too much, you know. But I can put you in a play that you guaranteed to make money. I just learned this one. I did it with Palo Alto, and it works as perfect. Okay, so option chart. Let's take a look on. By the way, guys, I closed this one on the profit. I should wait after the Fed meeting or close to the closing bell. I closed too early, and right now it's paying $360 contract, and I pay $65. It's a 500%, 414% at this point. But I closed at 140, so stupid earlier when the price was close to 120. Went up, but then Fed minute come up, and then boom, market sell off, and this was going down anyway. I should have not paying attention, but anyway. So okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, let's go to the flow. This call option strat, okay, and it shows the bullish flow and the bearish flow. So, but if I want to just go to the particular stock, I just go here, click, and I filter to NVDA. Slightly bearish. We have 82 bats making the $45 million on the bear side, and 72 on the bull side making $35 million. So from there, I go slightly bearish. That's okay. I'm not gonna take anything granted for this. All right. So now on the option strat, on my save trades, so this would be my play, but I closed this. Let me close with you guys watching live. 150. Oh my god, I lost $180. Unbelievable. 150. So this is my profit, 131%. Close the trade. Okay, now I still have those two. Actually, let's go here. No, okay, yeah. Oh, I opened another one. Let me see here what I opened. I open ARM. Why I open ARM? Because if NVIDIA go higher, you're gonna pull everybody up. AMD, ARM, SMCI, and ARM. We are 2% down. I look at the option charts, and it looks neutral in a trade. So this is already hit at $130, $140. So to go to, I got 122, if I'm not mistaken, 121 call for tomorrow, and I pay for this. No, for tomorrow, for the 24th, for Friday, and I pay how much I pay? Down 44%. Or I pay too much. Oh, no, I pay $54. 54. So I'm losing here. Oh my god. Sorry guys, bear with me. Okay, 53 now, 54. Okay, that's what I have. May 24, 121 call. If tomorrow the 22nd it hits, actually today the 22nd, sorry guys, tomorrow the 23rd, if you could trade it somewhere around here, it should be good. It's a 92% IV, so implied volatility. It says only have a chance for 9.6% of profit, but trust me, if NVIDIA go higher to $1,000, this is gonna go higher. Okay, because this is like neutral right now. So let's save this trade and let's put it like NVDA earnings. Okay, and then we save this, and this is my play. So I got ARM, I got these QQQ and the bull call spread just in case NVDA go up. Now if NVDA go down, I have the 700 for next week. Not gonna go that low, but if you're low, maybe like they say between, normally NVDA is 8%. You know, if you drop more than 8%, like 10, 12, or even 15%, I don't think, even if you drop that much tonight, tomorrow you're gonna recover because people are gonna buy the dip. So I'd say gonna stay between 8%. This might be paying me, you know, decent kind of money. But so right now I'm almost even. So I think how much I paid for this one, 56. Yeah, so right on the money. Maybe go 970. So okay. So these two also is an NVIDIA play. If NVIDIA go up, I got $54 in here. If NVIDIA go down, I'm already losing $53. This is a $90 play, so I'm gonna go all the way down. But this is still for the 29. It's still like, you know, maybe something happened, you know, this and that, blah blah. So the possible plays, that's what I was doing for research on my research. So I've been doing the PCR and also looking at TradingView, some of my indicators, and what I'm doing is try to just got one leg and play that side regard to the PCR indicator, everything else. So I did it this season earning. I started a little bit late because it's one night I wake up early in the morning and just going to work. You know, I got 4 o'clock in the morning, just like praying to God, believe it or not, and then just boom, PCR, pull card ratio. Why you don't study that? So the first earning that I took a note was Annette. I used Annette to work, and actually I predicted bullish and went bullish big time. Went up 14%, earning 7%. So the PCI volume was bull, and also they have this indicator on Weibo we call the pulse, Pulse. The pulse would show me 2.61. Open interest was bearish. In this one in particular, I didn't have nothing on TradingView, so I don't know, you know, the numbers on the TradingView. But this was good. I got a good in this one. So if I would have played, on the bull side. Well, this I would have do like a straddle because the open interest was bearish. So you guys not watching, but that's what I have here. Then I did a Monday.com, bullish also 21+%, 22, and the earnings still moving higher. That was pretty good. Workday's coming up. So workday, I have bullish on the volume, pulse 2.01, but bearish on the open interest. And the similar with Annette went bullish. However, we have a gap to fill down at 230. Actual price 246, and has identified, hadn't showed the pattern on a day chart. Everything indicated a bearish. 2 is trading up the Barry BB and box. The 285 option strat has the 24. So it's $460 risk to do 23% the chance. Baba was very bullish, went bearish in the earnings, so went down 7% to from 80 something to 76, and then it hit at the bottom, then went up, and then closed. On Monday was up to $90, and today they have some news overnight, so it dropped like another 5 or 6%. But it was missed for the earnings. But if you hold the position, would it be good because it shows like bullish situation. Cisco got me. Cisco, I really didn't like it. It's none of those places over here because those plays for last week. Okay, Cisco, it went bull, but then afterwards it went bear. So my indicators over here was neutral bull, but they didn't have it. It was going like really beautiful for me in a pause market, but then it went back. So I'm at earnings plus and minus bull after opening on after hours was bear. So I predicted this one. I didn't put a notes over here. I decided to start to do some notes, but on my notes over here I have I think I have a bear and it went up, so I missed that one. Walmart went bullish. I thought because on target I hit it, but I missed the Walmart call because I thought it would be bear. It went bullish. On Deere went bearish. This one, everything indicated bearish position. So if I would have played, Actually, I did a play, and it was good. I hit right on the money, pretty big. Sharknesia, everything looks bullish. This is not an earning play. This is more like I think this is gonna hit. So I still holding a position for Shark Ninja. Palo Alto, you guys gonna take a look over here. So Palo Alto, I kind of like predicted that I want to go bearish, and then I want to recuperate it, go up. So I did this long call condor. So right now I'm still 98% profit. So the position was 1,185. The max loss was 3,435. The max profit was 1,565. So pretty much anything happens until Friday, still the chance of profit is 98%. So it's a 1,200. But normally, because if I was doing this for earnings, and this would be like my position, and I would have closed on the max profit. The max profit, this one I think was 13 or 14. That was the $1,500, something like that. Or you can either wait for the 1,500. So it's up to you. If you get into this one, if you guys saw. So then I have this Wix. So this one was kind of like, I don't know. So when bullish, I have a bearish on the volume, and the pulse was 2.47. So the pulse. So I thought, because of this website kind of thing, like I don't think this is what it'd be like crazy, but actually it went crazy. The price in the stock, it went ballistic, and now it's down today 3%, but it still is higher as I think 23% bullish. So this contractor paid that much. Right now it's $2,000 profit on Wix. So, but my initial play would be this one. Even if I was like, let's say See, it went up close to $4,000. This one a profit, now it's down 500. But if I was playing like a strangle and this kind of like a bear call in this one, a long call in this one, the position total would be something around 800 for the call and like 695. I think 695 plus probably another 800 for this one, and it would be profitable maybe $1,900 or $1,700. So it would be good. Okay, moving forward, what I have here. Okay, Zoom was bullish and neutral, but actually, like I say in another video, I got the wrong call because I hit it. It was up, but not as much. I still gonna lose money if I got the 64 because it was $260 and this was $255, but not as much. Probably would it be probably the same thing because right now it's like it's dead. And actually, it would be 50%, not 86%. But so I missed that one. Still missing, but let's wait for NVDA. If NVDA go good today and probably push the mark up, this has a chance to go up. But other than that, I don't see it is passing. I mean, the bullish side, it would be something around 20%. I'll go back to the $70, but $78, but it didn't make it. So it was a big miss. Moving forward, we have Lowe's. Okay, Lowe's. I predicted another one that I picked the wrong position. I picked the 215 put. Predicting this stock would have dropped something around 4%. Actually, I think it did drop close to 4% because this was the 31st. If you have more bad news tonight with NVDA, we might see it is going to the 215. Okay, but it is a miss. But I think I just needed to pick something around an upside here, but I just got this one because it would be hitting this one. But it was down big time. Now it's back only 27% down. So Lowe's, Toll Brothers. Toll Brothers was a winner. Oh my God. Well, I didn't have the 134 put. That's what I did. And also I didn't have the 31st. I have the 24 and I have a 122. But if I would have picked, if I had a $500 to play, so right now it would be a $800 profit contract paying this much over here, like $1,400. And this is a 94% chance of profit right now. So it's pretty good. 118. I just sold my for 130% profit, but would it be okay to hold it into close, or maybe into the after the funk minutes. But this is a good. There was a hit. So okay, where's the other one? The one I missed it. It's Target. Target I missed because Walmart posted big number. I thought Walmart didn't lie with the numbers, but who knows? I predicted bullish because everything. Actually, no, this one was a misread because the PCI for the week was bearish and the PCI open interest was bearish. Only thing was, this one was my instinct, which I missed it. It was neutral for the technical on target on a trading view was sell, but they have a bull for the long run. Yeah, this was supposed to be bearish, and I misread this one. I should have go with the whole indicator. I just try to go against it, and I made a mistake. So the implied volatility here for the week was 7.56%. We hit it, 7.61% for the week. So it was pretty good. So this one, unfortunately, it was not a good call for me. But and TJX. So okay, TJX went up on the opening. So normally, once it hit the numbers in the morning, 9:30, maybe 9:45, not later than 10:30, I close my positions. I don't want to hold for any surprise, you know. So TJX hit a profit. I think went up 6%. So this would be like a big profit, and this is, for me, is a good. It's a win. It went up to 7.30%. The implied volatility for the week is only 4. So it's neutral on the volume, bullish on the weekly, bearish on open interest. Technical is buy, analysis buy. The call was 100. The average was 12%. So 113. So we got, now we're trading low because after the funk, it just dropped a little, dropped 3%, but it went up to 6%. So, and trading before, it was trading like on the low side. So this is a 230. Now it's like losing money, but actually at one point it was making 100% play. So I'm gonna close this because I would have closed earlier anyway. Maybe with let's put like, I think, let's see if I can see the TJX. Sorry. Let's see on Robinhood if I can see it. I think was options, call 100. The high, what's the high? So the high in this one was 500. So let's put a, set for itself at 500. So it's sell for 500. So it would be a $270 profit, 117%. Boom. Close. So target, miss it, is next week, but let it go. Toll Brother next week, let it go. But you know, this make almost even. It's close because I'm not gonna wait till next week to see it. I'm gonna populate it with more plays. So let's close. I don't know if this is gonna hold. This are gonna hold. This I can close to. Would it be nice? Close positions. This one, 31st. This probably go positive. Just gonna close. And weeks, close. And also call spread, close. So for earnings, we have NVDA for today, MDB I think for next week, and Workday I think. Let me see when it's gonna be Workday. What I have for this week? It's tonight, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna check it out. Why do I have for the 24th? Preview warnings. May 23rd is tomorrow. Earnings tomorrow. And do I have a bear put? So I'm playing a bullish side with this stock. When I open, actually see it went up big time. Probably opened last week, and it went up 5% for the past week. That's the reason my play is down 96%. I don't know if I can see when I opened this one. I opened May 10. So yeah, I opened like before May 15. So May 10, 7, 9, 10. I opened around here 247. So from 247 to 259 is 12 points, 6.5% maybe, something like that. That's the reason to play. It's down 94%. So I put $480. Right now it's $452. So let's see. We see tomorrow after the earnings, and if NVDA pulling the whole market down, this could be bad. But this, do I did a work day? I don't think I did a work day. I'm gonna bring CNBC to you guys as soon as we got the last 10 minutes. I did a work day. Okay. Now I have to do more stuff. Oh, the work day I did a bearish because the indicator on the FinVs showed me a head and shoulder. So let's see here. Work day. Why do I see one? Oh, okay, yeah. So I see over here on the FinVs, which I'm gonna bring to you guys. I don't know if you can see it, but we have left, head, so left, head, and right. So I don't know if you're gonna confirmation from this, but I think I don't know, this gap over here needs to be filled, and trading at the support. So okay, let's see the 200 days moving average, 4.32, 50. Short interest 5 minutes, 2%. Short flow, 2 point short ratio is 2.35. Okay, beta 1.36. Target price 314. Previous close. EPS quarter over quarter 1000%. So the distance for the simple moving average is only 1% for 200 days. So let's see that if you go negative, gotta go negative to be bearish, I think. So let's take a look on, let's move to option chart.ai, workday. Let's take a look, see if it's still on the numbers. Okay. So PCR volume had like 0.50, now it's 0.65, so it's going up a little bit. So I'm not gonna change the 1.4. Oh, it's going bearish. Single. Wow. Put call ratio for the week. For the week is 2.88, which is extremely bearish. Distribution, so 189 to 236. 189. Okay, how much is trading right now? 260. All right, so let's see what else. Let's go down to 200. 200 is 20%. It's gonna go down. Okay, let's go flow. Workday. Bearish. So option strat. Is bearish. One more thing here is the workday. I don't know if the head and shoulder or this would be the gap. If the head and shoulder is applied for this one, look like a former head and shoulder down here or double bottom here. Let's see what they doing. The buy. They're doing the buy in the technical and buy in the forecasts. So trading view has buy and buy. Let's see the forecast. So the downside is 190, the 26%. The upside is 20%. On it, see that option slam, workday. So the short interest, it's 1.82. The EVR, it's 3.1. And the weekly volatility, implied volatility in a week, it's 7%. And for the month, implied volatility for the month, it's 9%. So this might only move 7% in a downside, which is somewhere. Let's take a look. Got a support at 245. So gonna pass support. 7%. Just pass support a little bit. 18 points from this to how much trading right now? 259, yeah. From this Fibonacci level is gonna be a little bit down. Well, yeah, right. So the price is gonna be how much? 244. Workday options. Days put 244, 240, 180. Yeah, this is too close. This needs to be like next week. And probably like, well, if we go 199, I don't think we're gonna go 190. Well, let's see. Let's wait. But my play that I have on this one, it's already down big time. And a possible play is down 94%. So 450. I put it like $450. 480 actually. So let's see if I can turn this. Let's see this. Now the price, well, let's say 9%. Yeah, even if it go down 9%, 512. Well, let's wait and see if I'm right. Oh, we got 5 minutes to go. So let's bring CNBC to you guys.
What to expect from Snowflake when it reports in overtime today. Of course, the countdown to NVDA, the earnings. Well, that's on. Christina Partsinevelos is back with what to watch for there when those numbers hit the tape. Mike, you first, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the reaction algorithms are already preset. Whatever this number is, if the whisper, in fact, is more than 10% beat on EPS for NVIDIA, so be it. I think aside from that, what is interesting today is a bit of a reminder of some of the other undercurrents. Market's been holding together fine as you've had some profit taking below the surface. But the response to the Fed minutes, this hint of hawkishness, maybe Fed financial conditions aren't tight enough. We know it's old news. We know that the Fed speak since then has been more benign. But there is some worry evident in the consumer cyclicals again. So that to me has been the issue. The market wants to take it as that soft landing stuff. And the question is, can we take it for granted that that's the case? So I've been saying I'm not sure the 5% pullback in April was perfectly great to launch us much higher. We'll see what NVIDIA has to say about
Target, among the blowups today, Lulu, ugly.
Williams-Sonoma traded down off a pretty good number, so we'll see.
Okay, Seema Modi, what about Snowflake? What should we watch out for?
Well, Scott, Snowflake's weaker than expected guide for 2025 sent the stock down sharply. So expectations have come down, with shares off about 27% in the last 3 months. Investors will want an update from the new CEO, Sridhar Ramaswamy, a former Google executive, on his long-term vision following reports that the company is looking to acquire a smaller AI company, Reka AI, and what the cloud data management company is doing to capture more demand from the C-suite with the generative AI products it's been working on. Citi is cautiously positive with a buy rating, a $240 price target. Wedbush's target is $210. You'll see the stock is trading at $163 a share. Scott?
All right, Seema, we shall see. Seema Modi. All right. You feel like this is your Super Bowl or what?
Okay, maybe. The chip world is exciting, and this is going to add to it. But I think with NVIDIA, really the big question, and Mike alluded to it, is the magnitude of the earnings beat and guide. So for the past 4 quarters in 2023, NVIDIA actually beat revenue by an average of 20%. So, of course, maintaining that momentum is going to be hard. Expectations are around $24.6 billion in revenues for Q1. Obviously, the bogey a lot higher, but that's still 230% higher than just last year alone. The drivers, you talked about it, promised spending from hyperscalers, AMD raising its AI revenue guidance recently, which is a good sign for NVIDIA. Taiwan data center exports were high in Q1, and that highly correlates with NVIDIA. But we can't ignore anticipation for this name is high with the run-up in the stock, and for the guide to come in at least $1 billion higher than $26.6 billion. So the whisper number, buy-side bogey, whatever you want to call it, is $28 billion for the guide. If that doesn't happen, some will take risk off the table, but I'd like our viewers to just remember that Jensen Huang, the CEO, is going to be giving a speech in early June at a keynote at Computex, expected to make news there. And then you have the launch of the next generation chip in just a few quarters, which helps this AI story stay intact for NVIDIA, even if they don't guide, $1 billion over and $2 billion over the quarter in revenues.
I don't know if you heard Stacey Rascon say he's really not worried. He's pretty
I know,
optimistic
he's the
about what
blasé
still
word.
lies ahead, right?
Yeah,
so,
the blasé.
Yeah, we shall see. Christina, thank you, and we'll see you, of course, in overtime. Christina Partsinevelos. So,
I mean, if you've been a semiconductor analyst for decades and your problems usually are these like slices of gross margin and this vastly cyclical, dynamics in memory chips and all this stuff, I mean, the runway of NVIDIA looks like it's a cakewalk, right? Because it's just nothing but piling on demand on top of demand. So I get why Stacey would feel that way, even if the market has been fixated on this and has added a couple $1 trillion in value to the business over the last couple of years.
So we had a late day reminder, and you alluded to it today, of the issue that hangs over everything, and it's the Fed and it's rates, inflation, and this and that. And now we'll see with NVIDIA whether it gets our focus back on the ball of why this market is where it is, why we were able to come back from the April low led by technology, and these themes of AI being so prevalent in a week in which you've heard from Alphabet and Microsoft, and here you go now with NVIDIA.
And it really does sort of finish up this chapter of the story. Obviously, you've heard from every other company that's been feeding into this theme. So I do think that whether it goes up or down and has legs is one thing. What you should remember is Jensen Huang, as Christina was saying, is going to speak at these conferences, but he always kind of pulls you back to the long-term story, and he always sort of keeps his eye on the long-term vision. This company's been public since 1999. They've seen a lot of cycles. A lot of time they felt like they didn't have it in the bag. So I don't think he's going to take it much for granted necessarily.
All right, well, the moment of truth, if you will, is nearly
There you go.
upon us. The bell marking that.
Close.
20 after the hour, but you got a great setup coming with Morgan and John at OT.
Let's go NVIDIA.
Well, stocks losing some ground on Fed uncertainty, but attention now turns to the big event coming in 20 minutes. That is the scorecard on Wall Street, but the action's just getting started. Welcome to Closing Bell Overtime. I'm Morgan Brennan with John Ford.
And you know what the moment is. I mean, it's NVIDIA results. Wall Street's been waiting for it, and those results are just minutes away. Could set the tone for the entire market. That's how big this potentially is. We're going to bring you those numbers and analysis as soon as they cross.
And we have an all-star lineup
19
of shareholders,
minutes,
analysts,
guys.
and industry insiders ready to break down these results from every angle. Three of those all-stars join us now. Longtime NVIDIA shareholder Barbara Duran of BD8 Capital Partners, Stephanie Link of Hightower Advisors and CNBC contributor. She follows the space closely. And Patrick Moorhead of More Insights and Strategy, CEO, who covers NVIDIA and other names in the chips sector. It's so great to have all of you as we do wait to get these results from one of the biggest of the mega cap tech names. Barbara, I'll start with you. The fact that we did see a record intraday high for the NASDAQ, but we faded those gains. We drifted lower here into the close. It does seem like there's really been three big pillars to this market. It has been the reads we've been getting from retailers on the consumer. It's been the macro, particularly with all the Fed speak. And then it's been the AI growth story and whether that demand continues to be as robust as we do await these NVIDIA results. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's right, Morgan. And what's happening today is we're really having a bit of a stutter step because investors are very nervous about the NVIDIA earnings. I mean, if you look at last year's S&P earnings, NVIDIA was nearly a third, in fact, actually more than a third of the earnings. And this year, in terms of price action for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500, it's somewhere over 40% in its contribution. The stock's up over 90% year to date. So it's really a referendum on AI. And of course, we know the excitement around that and how big the potential market is, but people are worried any kind of a slowdown, any kind of a misstep, because it will impact other companies. So I think people, a lot of people are coming out with very positive notes on this, but it's a question of one, are they going to miss, or not be as exciting, as people hope for, and we will see about that.
Yeah, I mean the bar is extremely high. Steph, and we've been talking about it for days now, but an overtime regular, Adam Crisafulli, probably summed it up the best when he said today in his note, investors are treating this NVIDIA earnings as if it were an FOMC decision, CPI, PCE, and non-farm payrolls all wrapped into one super catalyst. Do you see it the same way?
It's pretty big. I mean, it's 5% of the S&P 500. It's very widely owned, obviously very popular. I think it's going to be great. I really do. And whether it can rally on great, just given the high expectations, as Barbara just talked about, we don't know. But I think if it is weak, I think it gets bought. I mean, the hyperscalers told you all we wanted to know, that the big four hyperscalers are going to spend $177 billion this year alone on CapEx for cloud and Gen AI. Globally, we're going to see $225 billion being spent on CapEx. So that's a huge tailwind for not only NVIDIA, but obviously for the space in general. And there are going to be many winners, and there have been many winners. I like what Supermicro had to say and their results. That's a nice tell for the results for NVIDIA. And they had growth of 580% year over year, and about 10% sequentially. So I think that kind of bodes well. We had some Taiwan export numbers that came out that actually also very highly correlates to strong data center. So the number is on data center, 20.6 billion. I've seen numbers as high as 22 billion. That's the number we're all focused on.
Pat Moorhead, I don't think we've seen a moment like this, a stock like this, I should say, like NVIDIA in tech, since Apple's run post 3G, when mobility just became the word throughout the world of tech like a decade or so ago. At a certain point, every stock goes through a digestion period. Even though, things are still going great, sometimes management decides to let things cool a little bit in their language, if nothing else. What are the chances that that moment is coming for NVIDIA?
Yeah, so I don't think that moment is coming anytime soon, John. Demand is off the rails. We're seeing it, as you heard, with the hyperscalers, and that demand is increasing at the hyperscalers, and now we're seeing it extended to the traditional OEMs, like we saw at Dell Technologies World this week, where enterprises are engaging, where 75% of the data is on premises and on the edge. John, I don't see this slowing down for at least a year.
Stephanie Link, I got to go back to you because I think I heard that you don't own NVIDIA, which to me at this point is more of a choice than owning it, right? Because like most people, if they got an index fund with the S&P 500, sort of own a big portion of NVIDIA. Why don't you own it? And as expensive, arguably, as it is now, Apple was arguably expensive 10 years ago. What would it take to get you to buy it now?
Well, John, obviously I missed it, but I have played this theme in other names, in Broadcom and in Lam Research. And in the last year, Broadcom's up 100% and Lam Research is up 80%. So it's not like I've missed out on the theme. I prefer to try to find companies maybe a little less popular, although I would argue that Broadcom has gotten much more popular over the last year, for good reason, by the way. I think the valuation for Broadcom is cheaper. I like the fact that they have a diversified total revenue mix with data center and cloud, but also networking, traditional semi, which is troughing at this point. I like the VMware acquisition, which gives them recurring revenue and higher margins. They have best-in-class gross margins that are only getting better, in my opinion, and free cash flow of $12 billion. So I think there's plenty of room left in the tank for that one. And then on Lam Research, we haven't even begun to see NAND wafer fab equipment spend recover. We're at a trough there. And I think in the second half of this year, you are going to see an improvement. And you need 6 times the memory for AI. And I think that's underappreciated. So those are the ways I'm playing it. Not saying anything wrong with NVIDIA. I think it's going to be great. I just mentioned it. Whether it can hold its rally, and then we'll see. But I do think it gets bought. I'm not one of them. I'll probably add to these other two over time as well.
Okay. Well, speaking of earnings, we're starting to get some other results. We've got VF Core, Snowflake, and Synopsys out. We're going through those results. In the meantime, Julia Borston has the numbers for Elf Beauty. Julia.
That's right. Elf Beauty beating expectations in the top and bottom lines with adjusted earnings of 53 cents per share. That's higher than the 32 cents estimated. Revenues of $321 million, surpassing expectations of $292.6 million. And net sales did grow 71% year over year, which the company says was driven by strength across retailer and e-commerce channels. But take a look at that stock now, trading down 11% in after-hours trading, and that is on weak guidance. The company guiding to fiscal 2025 full-year revenues in a range of $1.23 to $1.25 billion. That is below the consensus of $1.27 billion. And the adjusted earnings outlook also falling short of expectations expectations. The company giving a range of between $3.20 and $3.25 a share, well below consensus guidance. Consensus expectations, rather, of $3.51. Shares now down about 12% in after-hours trading. John?
All right, Julia, thank you. Meanwhile, heading in the other direction, Snowflake, those earnings are up and the stock is higher. Seema Modi has those numbers. Seema.
Hey, John, while Snowflake did report a 4-cent miss on its bottom line, it did produce better than expected revenue growth of 33% year over year at $829 million, which did come ahead of Wall Street consensus. The company also outlines that it's seeing more C-suite demand, 709 Forbes Global 2000 customers versus the 691 it saw in the fourth quarter. The new CEO, Sridhar Ramaswamy, who investors are looking forward to hearing from on the earnings call, really touting the company's push into artificial intelligence, saying our core business very strong, our AI products now generally available are generating strong customer interest. They will help our customers deliver effective and efficient AI-powered experiences faster than ever. This is the cloud data management company that brought its expectations down for 2025, which sent the stock down about 30% over the past 3 months, now getting a bit of relief here in overtime. John and Morgan.
All right. Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned before, expectations had been brought lower on the stock, and we see it responding in overtime. Don't miss Jim Cramer's exclusive interview with Snowflake CEO. That's coming up at 6 on Mad Money. And now, Barb, Steph, Patrick, stick around. We're going to see you in a moment when those NVIDIA numbers come out. And let's talk to you, continue at this point. Barb, we're still looking ahead to NVIDIA, but you got to pause and look at Snowflake, because this is a data management database company that's operating in this same data surge preparation for AI. When you see that company that had tamped down expectations popping after hours, does that add to the sense that there's a continued pipeline of demand for this technology?
Well, I want to see why they did have a nice beat on the revenue side. And I might point out, though, that they had really, once again, management did a good job lowering expectations. There were something like 24 cuts in EPS and revenue going into this. And I know they really just rolled out one of their first AI products in April. The CEO's been there just over a year. So it would be interesting to see if that revenue beat is because of AI. And if it is, that is very promising, because they've been behind their competitors, MongoDB and Datadog. So this is very promising. And if this is the case, in AI, the stock has a lot further to run.
All right, hold on. We got more earnings. Synopsis is out. Christina Partsinevelos, how does it look?
Well, for the actual quarter, it was a miss on EPS and revenue. So EPS came in at $3 a share, less than the street anticipated, on revenues of $1.46 billion, also a little bit less. For Q3 guidance, EPS was a beat, 3.25 to 3.30, so slightly a little bit higher than midpoint. But it was the Q3 revenue guidance. The midpoint was $1.57 billion, and that fell short of estimates. And yes, I can point to the full year guidance being strong, but you have to keep in mind that this company still has 2 more quarters to go. It's an electronic design automation firm, often compared to Cadence as well as ARM. And they already upped their guidance for the quarter back in March at their Analyst Day. So that's something to keep in mind with this report and contributing to the 4% sell-off right now.
All right. Christina, thank you. Right now, let's get deeper into Snowflake as we get prepared for NVIDIA to come out. Snowflake just reported moments ago. You can see it is 8% higher at the moment in overtime. Michael Turin of Wells Fargo joins us for that. Michael, this report can be challenging to read for overall expectations because they really do focus on product revenue. How does the guide in particular look to you here?
Guide looks encouraging. So investors were looking to see if Snowflake had finally set a conservative enough bar, particularly given the new CEO taking over as of last quarter. The beat was $40 million on the quarter. That's the biggest beat we've ever seen from Snowflake. The guide goes up by a little bit more than that, $50 million. So having set a low baseline seems to be the initial reaction here.
So in light of that, you got a new CEO in place. You have the bar being lowered, arguably lowered perhaps more than you otherwise would have seen, because you do have somebody coming in that's new at the helm. How does this position Snowflake with this new AI era and these products that they're beginning to unveil?
Yeah. We think there's a really good glide path for Snowflake. Last year was a difficult year for many software companies because it was the year of cost optimization. and ratcheting down spend. We think areas like data management saw some headwinds there, but you talked about the hyperscalers are starting to come out of those. We think companies like Snowflake stand to follow after that sequence. Now there's a catalyst with AI to get data preparedness in order, and we think Snowflake is very well positioned to take advantage of that with new AI-focused products set to come to market that can keep the positive trend line moving.
Michael, how much should investors expect a tone shift, given that now in Sridhar Ramaswamy, who came over from Neva, used to be at Google, very much in the guts of this developer mindset that's key to AI right now? Should we start to hear Snowflake sound less like just an execution machine, not to minimize it, but because Frank Slootman certainly was an execution machine, but also to lean more into the inspiration of what could be created based on the technology that they're coming up with now?
Yeah, you're onto something there, John. I agree. The foundation has been put in place from a go-to-market perspective. Frank is great at that. And now it's a much more deeply technologically focused conversation, particularly because of how much interest there is in generative AI. So I expect them to spend a lot more time on the product. There's a very good event coming up after this, the first week of June, which is Snowflake's customer conference, which will be multiple days of product announcements and an investor session. So this print helps set a foundation for a positive narrative around the product story to form, and Sridhar is going to be instrumental in framing that.
When we talk about the stabilization of consumption trends, is this a Snowflake-specific story, or is this a rising tide that lifts all boats, or are we sort of at an inflection point after what we've seen with belt tightening and things that aren't necessarily directly AI-related in IT up until now?
Yeah, it's a rising tide that's going to lift several boats, certainly not all, because it's still a more focused spend environment. But I think there's a return to modernization, a return to digital transformation that we're starting to pick up on that is quite encouraging. And so, that's what's leading Azure and AWS and some of the hyperscalers' growth profiles to pick back up. Companies like Snowflake are very well suited. You'll see other consumption names, and we've heard other consumption names speak to how encouraging it is to talk to customers about modernization, where the technology can get you, not just how you can help save on the bottom line and maybe cut costs on employees.
Okay. Shares of Snowflake up 7.5% right now. Michael Turin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on. Much appreciated.
Don't go anywhere. The main event is just moments away. NVIDIA is due out with results at 4:20 p.m. Eastern, so less than 5 minutes. We're going to bring you those numbers. Instant analysis from our panel of experts right after this break.
So I did my research on the snowflakes 2 minutes before, and normally it's not good, but I don't know. I think I hit it. So let's see. Let's wait. Let's say last minute on a live. The bullish on option strat. Everything went bullish, but didn't have nobody in the 200 contract, option strat. There's a buy on technical and analysis on the trading view. The PT was 205, which is the average. PCR volume is at 0.58, neutral to bullish. PCR open interest 0.78 was neutral. The weekly PCR was 0.51, it's bullish. So I'm taking notes. The implied move for the weekly is 10%. For the month is 13%. Beta is 0.91. Short flow and short interest is 3.1 to 3.16. The ratio on the short is 1.51. EVR is 5.0. Option strat, it's slightly bullish, so put a bullish. here. It's last minute. So the contract, I got too low on the $30. Should have go a little higher, but okay, they come up over here.
More news crossing in the chip space. We've got Global Foundries moving lower after announcing a secondary offering of $950 million of ordinary shares, all of which will be sold by a current shareholder rather than by the company.
On last earning, they down 21% from 230 before and went down to 180 was the low, 181 open, 190 high. So also what I see here on the Snowflake, the distribution, it's the call 81 to 232. They didn't have the put implied probability is 106 to 208. Call, okay, 81, 107 to 235. They didn't say here the percentage. So they say no trade, but it's already 176. NVDA is 951. It's not moving. Oops.
Get the stock to trade immediately up or down. Who knows? But I do think that's what it's all about. How many more quarters can we count on this boom coming from the huge tech companies into NVIDIA?
So, Barb, I want to go back to the fact that we have seen this broadening out in the rally, because up until recently, so much of the earnings that we saw in the S&P, the earnings growth, was NVIDIA related. That's starting to be less of the case, but it's still incredibly outsized. As we know, it's been outsized in terms of the gains for the broader market as well for the S&P and for the NASDAQ. So how much, as you see the rally broaden, how much does this result and the move we see in the stock still matter to the S&P? And I will note that NVIDIA is actually out. We're going through those numbers right now.
There we go.
Okay, you want me to answer or just wait for the video?
A little behind.
Answer. We're looking, but you got to answer.
Yeah. No, I think, in terms of the economy, and it is economy and earnings that drive the stock market, it's not going to be significant. I think in the short run, because mega caps and NVIDIA have led this market pretty much up until broadening out, it'll have a big impact, but I think it'll be short-lived. And I think whatever it is going to be probably about duration and durability, of their earnings growth, and that's really
the short's going to be mad about it.
It spreads out to other. So even if there's a dislocation after we go through these numbers, I think it will likely be short-lived as people digest whatever it is that they're digesting right now.
So 8% is the target.
We're going to get those details from Christina Partsinevelos momentarily.
But shares are shooting higher in the meantime.
Christina, how does it look?
Bottom line, $6.12, which is a beat for Q1 on revenues of $26.04 billion. So stronger than the estimate, also matching the boogie number, the whisper number at $26 billion. And I'd like to point out so far with data center revenue, also a beat, $22.6 billion, higher than what the street was anticipating. And I'm going through the report, but one line stands out. The next industrial revolution has become and they're going on about talking about the data center growth fueled by strong and accelerating demand for Gen AI, as we know. So we'll get back to you on all the numbers, but top and bottom line beat so far.
All right. So Patrick Moorhead, I want to go back to you on this. We got a top
and a 10.
Go ahead.
And a 10-for-1 stock split that I just read right now. Also announcing a 10-for-1 forward stock split of common stock to make ownership more accessible to employees and investors. The split will be effective through an amendment to NVIDIA's restated, scan through June 6th. So as of the close on Thursday, June 6th, they'll get 9 additional shares of common stock. So again, 10-for-1 forward stock split at the close on June 6th.
All right, Christina Partsinevelos, thanks for bringing us those initial headlines. Patrick, I'm going to go back to you. Data center beat, $22.6 billion, higher than expectations. Revenue overall, higher than expectations, or at least it seems like meeting the whisper number. I mean, we went into this report expecting a third consecutive quarter of 200% plus revenue growth, expecting 243% plus revenue growth. We've just topped that. How does it speak to what you were saying to us earlier about where we are in this cycle?
Yeah, so it aligns perfectly with what I said, which is the demand is off the rails in the hyperscalers, and they just want more and more, and that's shifted to their new platform, upcoming platform, Blackwell, which isn't shipping yet, but will ship. And that demand is now going to the data centers that aren't necessarily connected to the hyperscalers, like Lenovo, Dell, and HPE and Cisco. And so this increased insatiable demand to work on generative AI models continues, and I believe it will continue at least for the next year.
Okay, Christina Partsinevelos is doing a great job scrambling on that news as it was crossing. Barb Duran, I want to go to you now. NVIDIA's close to being a $1,000 a share stock right now after market. Shareholders of record as of Thursday, June 6th, are going to get 9 additional shares of common stock. We'll actually see the split adjusted price reflected Monday, June 10th. How does this make you feel about being a long-term holder of this stock, and given the accessibility that stock splits normally give to shareholders, does that factor in at all? Or given that Robinhood and SoFi and like all of these fractional shares are common right now, does it not matter as much as it used to?
Well, actually, I think it does still matter. It shouldn't, arithmetically, but it does. I mean, it does open up to a lot of retail investors who, if they could afford 2 shares, it doesn't seem worth it. So I think that is delightful news, that they're on top of the good fundamental news. And also what I think you're seeing in the aftermarket right here, there's a lot of momentum traders. There's a lot of trading going on. And I think tomorrow when the market opens, you're going to see a lot of retail traders, leaping aboard. A 10-for-1 stock split like you had with Chipotle. They announced what was it, 50 to 1, and then that stock just kept moving ahead, even though it's expensive. After their earnings, they announced the stock split. It was very positive for the name. So yeah. I think this will be too.
Okay, I want to bring Mike Santolian to this conversation. I mean, we're starting to see some of the other AI plays trade higher in sympathy right now as I go through. Even Intel's up fractionally, AMD, Supermicro is trading higher, Mike. But just to go back to the stock split, what does this do to make NVIDIA now a contender for the Dow?
It obviously would put it in the zone if the Dow committee were so inclined to try and add another company of this size. It's pretty conspicuous how big it is and not being part of the Dow. I don't know that that's necessarily something either that's the motivation of NVIDIA or that they're necessarily seeing getting itchy to do. They just recently added Amazon. I'm sure they feel as if they're participating enough in that. To me, it's more just a soft gesture of management confidence on some level, and then you take them for their word that for employees, it actually does matter. If you're compensated to a large degree in shares, it matters if you can just peel off small bits of it and sell some into the market. Walmart did something similar on that basis, too. So to me, it's more of a little enhancement to the overall story. The fact that the stock is only up 4%, I also would, strangely enough, take as a positive, because it shows a certain level of maturity and predictability. The forward guidance looks okay. Now, who knows? They could say wonderful things or scary things on the call and gets the stock moving in a different direction. But I think that's a pretty good thing to hold the recent gains up 4%. And what really has happened to the market based on this huge AI boom that's being funneled through NVIDIA largely is that all the companies buying from NVIDIA, right? So it's Microsoft, it's Amazon, it's Meta, it's Alphabet. They would otherwise have been retaining those earnings mostly, so it was kind of inert cash for the investor in the S&P 500. And now it's getting funneled through NVIDIA in the form of profits, and it's helping out kind of lubricate the system in that way and obviously add to aggregate reported profitability. So, the system's working for the moment.
I hear you on the 4%, but last quarter, NVIDIA did move a lot in the back half of the 4 o'clock Eastern hour, and then during the call as well. So we'll see about that. Let's get back to our Christina Partsinevelos for more on NVIDIA's guide. Christina. Yeah, so for Q2 revenue guidance is coming in at $28 billion. So again, if we talk about this buy-side boogie whisper number, that was spot on what the street was anticipating at $28 billion.
billion. I'd like to point out if we're going to go for categories. So we talked about data center revenue coming in at 22.6, stronger. Gaming was 2.6, so relatively in line. Pro Viz, that category was actually a little bit lower at 427 million, so lower than the street. Robotics and auto, surprisingly a little bit higher, $329 million. So some strength there. And then I know gross margins, the company has talked about it peaking this particular quarter. They're guiding for gross margins to be between 74.8 and 75.5, kind of alluding to what the CFO and CEO have said in the past, that it will eventually hit mid-70s. So again, pretty much hitting on the park on the dot on all of their promises thus far. But we'll see what they say in regards to momentum going forward in the Blackwell chip.
Stephanie, thank you, Christina Partsinevelos. Stephanie Link, I am not picking on you for not owning NVIDIA. No, you have not missed the AI trade. But for a lot of investors are going to be thinking about, okay, at 100 roughly bucks a share, maybe a little less pretty soon, next week, well, no, a couple weeks from now, should I buy this at this point? So what's your calculus? At what point, despite how expensive NVIDIA might seem, do you go, all right, well, I believe in this AI trade, so yeah, even though it looks a little expensive, I'm going to own it?
Well, I happen to own Snowflake, and that's an AI play as well, and that's up a lot more because the expectations were a lot less. NVIDIA, it's interesting that it is only up about 4%, but we'll have to hear about the call. All the things that were said, all of these things are very, very positive, but expectations were for that they were going to beat by $1 billion to $2 billion on revenues, and that they would guide about $1 billion higher. All that kind of came to fruition, which is good. But it was kind of the whisper and kind of expected. The biggest piece, obviously, data center. That's a lovely number, at $22.6 billion. That's 27% year-over-year growth. That's incredible. I definitely think that that's why people are in it. We don't necessarily care about the other segments. And I think spins and splits work in general. So that's why I think the stock certainly could be interesting to some. I have plenty of other AI exposure, John, and I like them better. And we talked about the other two, and then Snowflake.
I'm not trying to sell it
to be honest with you, that one was better than expected.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about, look, it's all about diversification, and it's all about trying to play the same themes, just with different names that are maybe less popular. And that's all. Nothing wrong with NVIDIA at all, and congratulations to those that own it. I just think that there are other ways you can win as well.
Yeah, and I keep sticking with that theme, Patrick. I mean, as we mentioned, there are a number of other AI plays that are trading higher in sympathy right now. That being said, NVIDIA 2.5% move higher, so we're faded the gains from the initial pop here. How much do gross margins in the guidance we got there? How much does that matter?
I mean, profitability here is on the gross margin side is exceptional. And I think what it shows is that even though NVIDIA was talking about potentially lowering prices on some of their future chips, they've been able to hold pricing power here. And it also shows that whether it's competition from AMD or Intel, or even some of the pressure that they're getting from the hyperscalers developing their own chips, is not necessarily coming into play and hurting gross margin. So it's a very positive sign. Now, we haven't seen the Blackwell effect yet, and if we're going to see gross margins change, it would be when it starts shipping later on this year.
Okay. Well, thank you to our panel, Barbara Duran, Stephanie Link, Patrick Moorhead, and our own Mike Santoli, who we will see a little bit later in the hour. Let's get another take on NVIDIA's results. Angelo Zeno of CFRA Research joins us now. Angelo, I want to get your initial thoughts. As we do see the stock trade higher, we did see them beat on the top and bottom lines and come in much stronger on some of those key metrics like data center. Obviously, we just talked about the gross margin and other metrics for the guide as well.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. So as far as the results are concerned, I mean, I think that it's probably as good as you wanted it to be. I mean, you didn't want the numbers to be too high, but you wanted them to be better than expected. And that's exactly what you kind of got this quarter. So we're perfectly happy with that. I mean, they did announce a number of other things, like an increase in the dividend, as well as the stock split and what have you. But as far as kind of the fundamentals are concerned, and the results for the April quarter and July quarter guide, data center numbers continue to drive this business, and that continues to look promising. So all in all, I'd say, we're pretty happy with the number. I'd say as far as gross margins are concerned, yes, they outperformed during the quarter, but when you kind of look at the guide, relatively in line to expectations. And when we kind of look at, the back half of the calendar year here, we do expect it to kind of be, more modest in nature. So call it, mid-70s range. So as far as, again, that guide was concerned, relatively in line with expectations.
Angelo, as the AI story kind of matures, we've been talking for several quarters now about how some people are saying, well, more of this compute is moving to the edge. It's moving away from the data center. We're seeing Qualcomm talking about that. We were just seeing Microsoft talk about that with Qualcomm and about others with the Copilot Plus announcement. There's also rumblings that NVIDIA is going to participate even more at the edge, perhaps on the CPU side with chips later. How do you see NVIDIA positioned as the AI story broadens out to laptops and such devices?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. So when we think about NVIDIA, I think what's great about the story is they've got so many levers to this story long term. And we kind of look at over the next kind of 3 to 5 years and even over the next decade, to your point, kind of on-device edge computing is going to be a huge part of the story, not only for the Qualcomms of the world, which are clearly seeing kind of a nice inflection now, but also the NVIDIAs of the world. I mean, I think you kind of look at their auto business, still small in nature. We think that's going to be a multi-billion-dollar business here over the next couple of years. And, you also alluded to laptops. I think when you start thinking about kind of the entire industrial revolution that kind of NVIDIA alluded to, I mean, these GPUs are going to be in all these type of devices out there. So that's a critical part of this, story for NVIDIA, longer term in nature. I'd say as you kind of, think about also the data center business here, yes, it's maturing in terms of kind of, the run rate in terms of the revenue, year-over-year revenue rates have to kind of start to decelerate. But that said, I mean, we do think there's this kind of AI war in the clouds going on, and we do continue to see upside potential to where some of the capital intensity rates are for a number of these kind of mega cap tech companies, specifically on the cloud and the digital ad side of things. And don't forget the whole sovereign AI story, which it'll be interesting to kind of see, how if Jensen Huang kind of talks about that, on this call, because that provides further kind of validation to the long-term story of this company.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going with you, Angelo, because I remember last quarter, we'll call it a couple of quarters ago, you've had the Commerce Department. I just spoke to, Secretary Raimondo earlier today on CNBC. I asked her about export controls, which we know have affected NVIDIA and other semi names as well, whether she felt like they have gone far enough. She said they're continuously assessing that. It had been a large piece of revenue, China had been for NVIDIA. They've been de-risking that. The fact that it's not front and center as a metric in this earnings report tells us what?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of hit it when you said it. They've kind of been de-risking, that part of the business here. I mean, it'll be interesting to kind of see what they have to say about China. Listen, China's the second biggest market out there. So you do want that to be an open market here for NVIDIA longer term. I think it improves kind of the long-term trajectory for this company if they can participate even more than they currently are within the China market. But I think you kind of, hit the nail on the head when you kind of said, hey, listen, they've de-risked from this story. It's not, it's not 20 to 25% of their data center business. It's, closer to a single-digit pace. But that said, now we see it as more of a potential opportunity if they are allowed to, continue to open up that market there. But maybe to your point, at this point in time, it's one of those things where it's not kind of a central kind of thesis to our story, but the hope is potentially it could kind of come back a little bit.
All right. Angelo Zeno, thank you. NVIDIA stock up a bit more than 2% at the moment in overtime. But hey, the hour and the evening are young. Coming up, Mike Santoli is going to look at the mega cap horse race between NVIDIA and two other tech giants in light of today's results.
And after the break, we will check in on the other names making notable moves right here in overtime. Stay with us.
Okay, the hype is over. Right now, they are trading on $9.74, 2.5%. Hit the $993. So they have the split coming up. They're gonna post over here, but they're gonna split the stock in June. So it might show up later. So the numbers were, let's see, they didn't bring it up. Look like they have the top and bottom. So my play on a possible play, this one might be the one. It's gonna be good. Yeah, it's gonna be right over here. 2.3%. It was $4,000 to make $11.90, so 69% right now. It might hit the numbers, so let's see. We bring tomorrow.
Welcome back. NVIDIA is not the only name moving in overtime, so let's get you up to speed. Snowflake is higher after beating on revenue. Their earnings came in about 4 cents light at 14 cents per share. Nonetheless, you can see those shares are up about 5% right now. Product revenue was up 34% year over year. Synopsys missing on both lines. Third quarter revenue guidance was soft as well. Those shares are under pressure right now. VF Core also missing on both lines. Revenue at its The North Face brand fell 5%. Revenue at the Vans brand fell 26%. And those shares are down 8% right now. ELF getting hit on a soft full year outlook, though it did beat for the quarter. Perhaps raising more questions, John, to next week when we get Ulta, knowing how strong beauty retailers have been in this environment, at least until now.
So many questions and so many numbers to answer them. That's what I love about overtime. Well, up next, what NVIDIA's results, speaking of, could mean for other AI-related stocks as we count down to that conference call at the top of the hour. Be right back.
Yeah. Should have just hold the Toll Brothers. Would have been much better. 22. It's 118. Probably playing 360 right now. Instead of play this. I knew this gonna be like a neutral. But let's see the next 2 days. Alright guys, 1 hour 30 minutes. That was the cover. Open closing bell to you guys, and thank you for watching this video. See you guys next time.